One decision can change the direction of your entire life. When everything around you falls apart, most people wait for someone to save them. But true hope never comes from the outside. It is born inside you. In this powerful journey inspired by Uncle Iroh's timeless philosophy, you'll discover why your darkest moments are not the end of your story, but the beginning of your greatest transformation. If you've ever felt lost, broken, or uncertain about your future, this video may become the message you needed to hear today. Watch until the end, because the final lesson has the power to completely change how you face life's greatest challenges. There comes a moment in every person's life when the world grows unbearably quiet. Not the peaceful kind of silence, the heavy silence that follows disappointment, the silence after a dream collapses, after someone leaves, after failure, after loss. It is the kind of silence that forces you to confront a question no one else can answer for you. What now? Most people spend their lives believing hope is something they will eventually find. They search for it in success, in relationships, in money, in recognition, in the approval of strangers. They convince themselves that if life becomes easier, hope will naturally appear. But life has a strange way of proving the opposite. Sometimes everything you depended on disappears. The job ends. The relationship breaks apart. Friends drift away. Plans fall apart without warning. The future that once seemed certain suddenly becomes a mystery. And in that moment, many people believe hope has abandoned them. But what if they have been searching in the wrong place all along? The oldest wisdom traditions teach something that modern society rarely understands. Hope is not discovered. It is created. Imagine standing alone in a forest at midnight. The sky is hidden behind thick clouds. No moon, no stars, no path. Every direction looks exactly the same. Fear begins whispering, "You are lost. There is no way forward. You'll never find your way." Those whispers feel convincing because darkness has a unique power. It makes uncertainty look permanent. Yet the forest has not changed. The trees remain where they have always been. The path still exists beneath your feet. Only your ability to see has changed. Life works exactly the same way. Hardship rarely destroys the path. It simply hides it. The greatest mistake people make during difficult seasons is believing that confusion means they are moving in the wrong direction. It doesn't. Sometimes confusion is simply the price of transformation. Think about a seed buried beneath the soil. If the seed could speak, it might believe it had been forgotten, surrounded by darkness, pressed under heavy earth, unable to see sunlight, unable to understand why everything around it feels heavy. But the gardener knows something the seed cannot yet understand. The darkness is not its prison, it is its preparation. Before anything beautiful rises toward the sky, it must first develop invisible roots. The strongest trees are never built above the ground first. Their strength begins where nobody can see. Your life follows the same law. The moments that feel empty, the seasons that seem unfair, the nights when nothing appears to be changing. Those are often the moments your character is quietly growing beneath the surface. Unfortunately, our culture teaches the opposite. We celebrate visible victories, promotions, awards, luxury, fame, followers. But almost nobody celebrates invisible growth, patience, resilience, wisdom, forgiveness, courage. Yet invisible growth always comes before visible success. The mountain is conquered long before the summit is reached. It is conquered in the countless unseen steps. There is an old story about a traveler crossing an enormous desert. For days he walked beneath a burning sun. His water became scarce. His strength faded. Eventually he collapsed beside a lonely rock. Looking toward the endless horizon, he whispered, "There is nothing left." An old wanderer happened to pass by. Instead of offering directions, he simply handed the exhausted traveler a small shovel. Confused, the traveler asked, "What good is this?" "I need water." The old man smiled. "Exactly." Reluctantly, the traveler began digging. The ground was dry, hard. Every handful of sand seemed meaningless. Minutes passed, then an hour, nothing. Frustration turned into anger. "This is pointless." Still, he continued. Suddenly, the soil became damp. Moments later, fresh water emerged from beneath the earth. The water had always been there. It simply required persistence to reach it. Hope is much like that hidden spring. It already exists inside you. But most people stop digging moments before they find it. Every difficult season invites you to make one of two choices. You can believe your circumstances define you, or you can believe your response defines you. These two beliefs create entirely different lives. Imagine two sailors caught in the same violent storm. The waves crash with equal force. The rain falls on both without mercy. The wind shows no favoritism. Yet one sailor curses the ocean. He blames the weather. He surrenders to panic. The other adjusts his sails. Neither controls the storm. Only one controls himself. Years later, people call him resilient. They assume he possessed extraordinary courage. But courage rarely appears before action. More often, action creates courage. One decision, one adjustment, one small step. Again and again. This is how inner strength is built. Not in extraordinary moments, but in ordinary choices repeated consistently. One of the greatest illusions about hope is believing it removes fear. It doesn't. Hope and fear often walk together. The courageous person is not fearless. They simply choose which voice deserves obedience. Fear says, "Turn back." Hope whispers, "Take one more step." Fear says, "You've already failed." Hope answers, "You've learned." Fear focuses on endings. Hope notices beginnings. The remarkable thing is that both voices speak inside every human being. The question is never which voice exists. The question is which one becomes your guide. There is another misunderstanding that quietly steals people's happiness. Many believe they need certainty before they can move forward, but certainty almost never comes first. Faith comes first, then action, then clarity. Imagine trying to drive across the country at night. Your headlights only illuminate a small stretch of road, perhaps 50 meters, certainly not the entire journey. If you insisted on seeing every mile before driving, you would never leave your driveway. Life asks for the same trust. You only need enough light for the next step, not the entire path. This is why wise people rarely obsess over the future. They master today, because today's actions quietly construct tomorrow's reality. Every sunrise offers another opportunity, not to become perfect, but to become slightly stronger than yesterday. The strongest people are not those who never fall. They are the ones who continue standing after every fall, like rivers flowing around rocks, like trees bending during storms, like mountains remaining unmoved through changing seasons. Nature never rushes, yet everything is accomplished. There will be days when you feel like giving up. Days when progress seems invisible. Days when your own mind becomes your greatest enemy. Those days matter more than the easy ones, because anyone can remain hopeful when life is generous. The true measure of character appears when life becomes difficult. Hope is not tested in sunshine. It is tested in darkness. Anyone can smile when everything works. The extraordinary learn to smile even while rebuilding, because they understand something others forget. No season lasts forever. Winter always becomes spring. Night always becomes morning. The storm always runs out of rain, not because life promises comfort, but because change is woven into the fabric of existence itself. Perhaps today you feel lost. Perhaps you're carrying disappointments nobody else knows. Perhaps you're waiting for life to become easier before allowing yourself to believe again. If so, listen carefully. The world cannot hand you hope. No person can permanently give it to you. No achievement can guarantee it. No amount of success can protect it. Real hope is born in a far quieter place. It is born the moment you decide that your circumstances will not write the story of your life. Only you can do that. And maybe that decision, that single quiet decision, is where your true journey finally begins. There is a fire inside every human being. Most people spend their entire lives searching for it in the outside world, never realizing it has been quietly burning within them since the day they were born. Sometimes it burns brightly. Other times it is reduced to nothing more than a tiny ember, hidden beneath layers of disappointment, fear, regret, and failure. But an ember is still fire. That is the secret. The greatest mistake people make is believing they have lost themselves simply because they can no longer feel their own strength. Strength is rarely lost. It is forgotten. Imagine walking through a dense forest after a wildfire. The trees are blackened. The ground is covered in ash. The silence feels almost unbearable. At first glance, everything appears dead. Yet beneath the surface, something extraordinary is happening. The roots remain alive. Hidden beneath the earth, life patiently waits for the right moment to emerge again. Weeks later, tiny green shoots begin pushing through the ashes. Months later, flowers bloom where destruction once stood. Years later, the forest becomes stronger than before. Nature understands a lesson many people forget. Destruction is not always the end. Sometimes it is the beginning of renewal. Your life follows the same pattern. The moments that seem to break you often remove the parts of yourself that were never meant to last. Comfort disappears. False confidence crumbles. Illusions collapse. What remains is something far more valuable, your authentic self. Many fear suffering because they believe pain exists only to punish them. Wisdom teaches otherwise. Pain is often a teacher disguised as an enemy. It asks difficult questions. Who are you when success disappears? Who are you when nobody believes in you? Who are you when the world refuses to reward your efforts? Those questions cannot be answered with words. They are answered through actions. History is filled with people who discovered their true purpose only after losing everything they thought they needed. Before the mountain can become a masterpiece, it must endure centuries of wind and rain. Before a sword becomes sharp, it must survive the furnace. Before gold becomes beautiful, it must pass through fire. Why should human character be any different? We often pray for strength, yet when life presents us with opportunities to become stronger, we call them problems. Perhaps they were answers all along. Consider the story of a potter shaping clay. A lump of clay sits quietly on the table, comfortable, untouched. Then the potter begins. He presses, pulls, spins, shapes. The clay might believe it is being destroyed. Instead, it is becoming something useful. Then comes the hottest part, the kiln. Without the fire, the vessel remains fragile forever. With the fire, it becomes capable of holding water for generations. Your struggles are not meaningless. They are your kiln. Every disappointment teaches patience. Every failure teaches humility. Every rejection teaches independence. Every obstacle reveals strength you didn't know existed. The tragedy is not suffering. The tragedy is allowing suffering to convince you that growth is impossible. Look at rivers. When they encounter enormous rocks, they never argue with them. They never complain. They simply flow around them, day after day, year after year. Eventually, the hardest stone yields to the gentlest water. Not because water is stronger, because water is persistent. Hope works exactly the same way. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It simply refuses to stop moving. Most people underestimate the power of small victories. They wait for one enormous breakthrough, one life-changing opportunity, one perfect moment. Meanwhile, life is quietly transformed by ordinary decisions. Getting out of bed when your mind tells you to stay there, making one healthy choice, reading one page, offering one act of kindness, taking one more step when every part of you wants to quit. These tiny actions seem insignificant, until years later when you realize they built an entirely different person. There is another illusion that steals people's hope: comparison. Modern life constantly encourages you to measure your journey against someone else's. You see their achievements, their happiness, their success, their confidence. But comparison is deeply dishonest, because you compare your private struggles with someone else's public victories. You never see the nights they cried, the fears they fought, the mistakes they regret, the loneliness they survived. Every person carries invisible battles. Some simply hide them better than others. The oak tree never envies the bamboo. The eagle never wishes it could swim like a fish. Nature never compares. Everything grows according to its own design. Human beings suffer because they forget this truth. Your journey cannot be measured by someone else's timeline. Your season belongs to you. Trust it. Another lesson worth remembering is that hope is contagious. Not because hopeful people ignore reality, but because they remind others that reality can change. Think back to someone who believed in you before you believed in yourself. Maybe it was a parent, a teacher, a mentor, a friend. Perhaps they never solved your problems. Perhaps all they did was remind you of your own potential. Sometimes that is enough. Words spoken at the right moment become seeds planted in the heart. Years later, they bloom into courage. That is why your own hope matters far beyond yourself. People are constantly watching. Children watch parents. Friends watch friends. Communities watch leaders. Whether you realize it or not, your response to hardship teaches others how to face their own. Every time you choose resilience instead of despair, someone notices. Every time you choose kindness despite disappointment, someone notices. Every time you refuse to surrender, someone notices. You may never know whose life changes because you kept going. Hope spreads quietly, like one candle lighting another without losing its own flame. One light becomes two, two become 10, 10 become thousands. Darkness has never defeated light. It has only existed where light was absent. Perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: your circumstances are temporary, your character is permanent. Storms pass, pain fades, seasons change, but the person you become while surviving those seasons remains with you forever. That is why wise people value growth more than comfort. Comfort disappears, character stays. Imagine climbing a mountain before sunrise. The path is steep. Cold air fills your lungs. Your legs ache. More than once you consider turning back. Then finally, you reach the summit. As the first rays of sunlight break across the horizon, you realize something unexpected. The mountain didn't change you at the top. It changed you with every step upward. Life works exactly the same way. Transformation is rarely found at the destination. It is hidden inside the climb. This is why hope must never depend on reaching the summit. It must live inside the journey itself. Every morning offers another opportunity to continue climbing. Some days you'll move quickly, others you'll barely move at all. Both days matter, because progress isn't measured by speed, it's measured by direction. As long as you continue moving toward the person you wish to become, you are succeeding, even when it doesn't feel like it, especially when it doesn't feel like it. So if today feels heavy, if your future seems uncertain, if your heart carries burdens too difficult to explain, remember this: fire doesn't ask permission to burn. The sunrise never apologizes for returning. The river never doubts its destination. And deep within you, no matter how faint it seems, there is still a fire waiting to grow. Protect it, feed it, trust it, because sometimes the smallest flame is all that is needed to illuminate an entirely new life. There is a reason why nature survives every storm. The mountain does not panic when the wind arrives. The river does not argue with the rocks that block its path. The forest does not fear winter because it knows spring always returns. Nature never fights reality. It flows with it. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson about hope. Most people think hope is simply wishing that life becomes easier. But hope has never been passive. Real hope is active. It is built every single day through the way you think, the way you respond, and the way you choose to continue despite uncertainty. Imagine for a moment that your soul is made of 4 elements: fire, water, earth, air. Each one teaches a different lesson about surviving life's hardest moments. Master all 4, and almost nothing in this world can break you. Fire. Protect your inner flame. Fire is powerful because it begins small. Every great blaze starts with one tiny spark. Your confidence works exactly the same way. People often wait until they feel confident before taking action. But confidence isn't what creates action. Action creates confidence. Think about every successful person you've ever admired. None of them began fearless. They began uncertain. They simply refused to let uncertainty extinguish their inner fire. The world constantly tries to put out your flame. Criticism, failure, rejection, comparison, disappointment. Each one pours water onto your confidence. If you depend on outside praise to keep your fire burning, someone else controls your warmth. That is dangerous. Your fire must come from within. Every morning ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to become today? Not, what will happen today? Because circumstances change. Character remains. Protect your inner flame by refusing to allow temporary failures to define permanent identity. A failed attempt does not mean you are a failure. A wrong decision does not make you a broken person. One difficult season does not determine your destiny. Fire survives because it keeps burning, even after the strongest wins. Water. Adapt without losing yourself. Water never argues with obstacles, it simply moves. When blocked, it flows around. When trapped, it waits patiently. When released, it continues forward. This is why water always wins. Not because it is stronger than stone, because it never stops moving. Life rarely follows your plans. Relationships end, jobs disappear, dreams change, people disappoint you. Most suffering comes from resisting change. We cling to old versions of ourselves, old identities, old expectations, old futures that no longer exist. But water teaches something extraordinary. You can change direction without changing your purpose. The river may bend, it never forgets the ocean. Likewise, your journey may change. Your destination does not have to. Many people mistake flexibility for weakness. It isn't. Flexibility is intelligence. The strongest tree during a storm is often not the stiffest. It is the one willing to bend. There will be seasons where survival itself is victory. Allow yourself those seasons. Adapt, recover, learn, then continue moving. The person who refuses to quit eventually reaches places the talented person never sees, not because they were gifted, but because they endured. Air, master the invisible battle. Most battles happen long before anyone notices them, inside your own mind. The stories you tell yourself become the reality you experience. Air is invisible, yet nothing survives without it. Thoughts are similar. Nobody sees them, yet they shape everything. Imagine waking every morning with two voices. One whispers, "You'll fail." The other whispers, "You'll learn." Which one grows stronger? The one you feed. Many people unknowingly poison themselves through constant negative self-talk. I'm too late. I'm not smart enough. I always ruin everything. I'll never change. These thoughts become invisible prisons. The mind believes what it repeatedly hears. That is why breathing matters. Not because breathing magically solves problems. Because controlled breathing interrupts panic. When anxiety rises, breathe slowly, deeply, quietly. Each breath reminds your nervous system that you are safe. Once your body becomes calm, your mind becomes clear. Clear minds make better decisions. Hope often returns, not because circumstances improved, but because breathing reminded you that you were stronger than the moment. Air teaches us something beautiful. Sometimes the most powerful forces cannot be seen. Kindness, patience, faith, love, courage, hope. None of them are visible, yet they change everything. Earth, stand firm. When everything shakes, eventually life will test you. Not once, many times. People will misunderstand you. Some will betray you. Others will leave without explanation. Dreams may collapse. Plans may fail. When everything around you becomes unstable, what remains? Your foundation. That is Earth. Earth does not chase approval. It simply exists. Strong, steady, reliable. This is the kind of character every person should build. Because confidence based on compliments disappears with criticism. Confidence based on possessions disappears with loss. Confidence based on status disappears with failure. But confidence built upon values cannot easily be taken away. Ask yourself, who am I when nobody is watching? That answer matters more than any title, more than money, more than reputation. Integrity is invisible wealth. The world may not always reward it immediately, but your soul will, and a peaceful soul sleeps better than a famous one. Become the kind of person who keeps promises to yourself. If you say you'll wake early, wake early. If you promise yourself 30 minutes of study, study. If you decide to exercise, exercise. Self-respect grows every time you honor your own word. Eventually, you become someone you trust. And when you trust yourself, the opinions of others lose their power. The balance of all four elements. Fire gives you purpose. Water gives you adaptability. Air gives you clarity. Earth gives you stability. Together, They create resilience. Life is not about avoiding hardship. It is about becoming someone hardship cannot easily destroy. The world often teaches people to search outside themselves for strength, for validation, for certainty, for happiness. But every lasting transformation begins inside. Hope isn't discovered. It is cultivated, like a garden. Neglect it, and weeds appear. Care for it daily, and eventually it becomes impossible to ignore. Some days your fire will burn brightly. Other days you'll need the patience of water. Sometimes you'll need the stillness of air. Sometimes only the strength of earth will carry you forward. Every season has its lesson. Every hardship contains hidden wisdom. The question is never, why is this happening to me? Instead, ask, what is this experience trying to teach me? That single question transforms suffering into growth, and growth into purpose. Remember this, no storm lasts forever. No winter remains permanent. No darkness defeats the sunrise. Nature proves this every single day. Perhaps it is trying to teach us something. Maybe your greatest breakthrough isn't waiting somewhere in the future. Maybe it begins the moment you stop fighting reality and start growing through it. Because the strongest people are not those who never fell. They are those who learned how to rise. Again, and again, and again. Hope is not pretending tomorrow will be easy. Hope is knowing that whatever tomorrow brings, you are becoming the kind of person who can face it. And that changes everything. There comes a moment in every life when the road divides. Not with signs, not with certainty, not with someone standing there to tell you which direction is right. Just a quiet moment. A single decision. A choice so ordinary that you almost fail to recognize its importance. Most people imagine destiny as something waiting for them somewhere in the future. A hidden path, a grand opportunity, a perfect moment that will suddenly reveal their purpose. But destiny rarely announces itself with fireworks. More often, it disguises itself as today's smallest decision. Will you get back up after failing? Will you forgive instead of carrying resentment? Will you continue learning after being rejected? Will you choose patience instead of panic? Every answer quietly shapes the person you are becoming. Life is not built in extraordinary moments. It is built in ordinary ones. Imagine an old traveler walking through the mountains. Every morning he places one foot in front of the other. He never rushes. He never asks how many miles remain. He simply continues. Years later, people admire the distance he has traveled. They call him extraordinary. They imagine he possessed unusual gifts. They never realize that his greatest talent was simply refusing to stop walking. Success often looks dramatic from the outside, but from the inside, it usually feels repetitive. Wake up, try again, learn, fail, improve, repeat. There is a quiet beauty in this rhythm. The world celebrates dramatic transformations, yet nature teaches a different lesson. The sun rises without applause. The moon appears without seeking recognition. Trees grow silently. Rivers carve canyons without making announcements. The most powerful forces in existence move quietly. Perhaps your own growth should too. Too many people become discouraged because change feels slow. They plant seeds today and expect fruit tomorrow. When nothing happens immediately, they quit. But imagine speaking to a bamboo tree. For years it appears to do almost nothing. Its growth seems invisible. Someone impatient might conclude it is failing. Then one season arrives, and suddenly the bamboo shoots upward with astonishing speed. What happened? Was the growth sudden? No. The roots had been developing all along. Your own life often follows this pattern. There are seasons where everything important happens beneath the surface. Your patience grows, your discipline strengthens, your character deepens. No one applauds these victories. Yet they prepare you for everything that follows. Never underestimate invisible progress. The strongest foundations are hidden underground. One day, people will call you lucky. They will admire your wisdom, your calmness, your resilience. They will never see the years you spent becoming the person standing before them. That is perfectly fine. Trees never explain how they grew. They simply provide shade. There is another lesson worth remembering. Many people spend years trying to become someone else. They imitate personalities. They chase lifestyles. They compare themselves endlessly. But comparison is a thief disguised as motivation. Every flower blooms differently. The rose never competes with the lotus. The mountain never envies the ocean. Each fulfills its own purpose. Your path was never meant to resemble someone else's. You carry experiences no one else possesses. Pain that shaped you. Joy that transformed you. Lessons that belong only to your journey. Why trade something original for a copy? The world does not need another imitation. It needs the fullest expression of who you truly are. This requires courage, because authenticity often disappoints people who benefited from your uncertainty. The moment you begin choosing yourself, some people will accuse you of changing. They are right. You have changed. Growth always looks unfamiliar to those who remain still. Do not apologize for becoming wiser. Do not apologize for protecting your peace. Do not apologize for refusing to shrink so others feel comfortable. A tree that continues growing eventually casts a larger shadow. Some will appreciate it. Others will resent it. Grow anyway. Remember that peace is not the absence of difficulty. Peace is the confidence that no difficulty can steal who you have become. There is a profound difference. Anyone can feel peaceful when life is easy. The remarkable soul carries peace into chaos. Imagine sitting beside a quiet lake at sunrise. The surface reflects the mountains perfectly. Suddenly, a stone is thrown into the water. Ripples spread across the lake. The reflection disappears, but only for a while. Eventually, the water becomes still again. Your mind is the same. Life will throw stones, criticism, failure, loss, unexpected change. You cannot stop every stone, but you can learn not to become the ripple forever. Stillness always returns, if you allow it. One of the greatest freedoms a person can discover is realizing that not every battle deserves to be fought. Some arguments steal more energy than they deserve. Some opinions require no response. Some people misunderstand you because they have already decided not to understand. Wisdom is knowing the difference. There is strength in silence. There is dignity in walking away. There is power in protecting your inner world from unnecessary conflict. The strongest person in the room is rarely the loudest. Often, they are simply the most centered. As the years pass, you begin to notice something unexpected. The goals that once seemed most important begin to change. Status matters less. Approval matters less. Winning every argument matters less. Instead, you begin valuing peace, meaning, connection, gratitude. You realize happiness was never hiding at the finish line. It was quietly walking beside you all along. Every sunrise, every conversation, every lesson, every challenge. Life was never asking you to become perfect. It was asking you to become present. Perhaps that is the greatest wisdom of all. Hope is not blind optimism. It is disciplined faith. The faith that today's choices matter. The faith that small actions shape extraordinary lives. The faith that every setback carries the seed of future wisdom. The faith that no darkness can permanently defeat someone who continues choosing light. And what is light? It is kindness when bitterness feels easier. It is courage when fear feels overwhelming. It is patience when frustration demands immediate action. It is compassion when judgment would be simpler. Light is not weakness. It is strength under control. There will come another difficult season. That is inevitable. Another disappointment, another crossroads, another moment when the future feels uncertain. When that day arrives, remember the journey you have already survived. Remember every obstacle that once seemed impossible. Remember every morning you chose to continue despite doubt. You are not the same person who began this path. You have become stronger. Not because life became easier, but because you became wiser. Perhaps the greatest gift life offers is not certainty. It is transformation. And transformation belongs to those willing to keep walking. One step, one decision, one sunrise at a time. So, as this journey comes to an end, leave with one final thought. Do not wait for the perfect moment to believe in yourself. Do not wait until fear disappears before taking action. Do not wait for the world to give you permission to become the person you were meant to be. Choose today. Choose hope. Choose growth. Choose peace. Choose courage. again tomorrow, and the day after that. Because destiny is never created in a single moment. It is quietly written, one choice at a time, one sunrise at a time, one hopeful heart at a time.